What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of FTB Inventions. Oh yeah, guys, so last episode, we were starting to mess around with this applied energistic stuff. We kind of got the AE room on the top side laid out. We got some auto crafting going on, which is pretty awesome. We started getting some patterns in here. Yeah, just been making pretty much patterns specifically for applied energistic stuff. If we come over here, you kind of see all the different auto crafting things that we have laid out. Yeah, it's pretty much all applied energistics. There is a few vanilla items, and these are the items that are required for making some of these applied energistic stuff. So yeah, I haven't gone overboard, but yeah, just all the things that we're going to be using a lot of and we're still making right now. Yeah, those are definitely the things we have patterns for. We have a lot more room available once we get all of the ME interfaces and the molecular assemblers set up on these different auto crafting pads. We haven't gotten to that point yet. We don't really have the requirements for needing that much auto crafting yet. So I don't want to go overboard and just make all of the things right now. So anyway, I just got done rearranging our auto, what is this thing? Crystal growth accelerator thing. Yeah, I have pushed it into the wall. I've tried to make it a little bit more clean. In fact, we could kind of remove some of the stone a little bit. Obviously, it's not going to be stone permanently when we're all said and done, but this is kind of the way things are looking right now. So we just have that interface. This is going to have our pure fluix, our pure Certus quartz, and our pure nether quartz. Yeah, the recipes for that push into the cable interface for this small little network of the two items here, the formation plane and the interface. That drops it into the water. This thing does its work. Yeah, and everything will be happy. You know, one thing I'm noticing right now, I don't think these have power. I don't know how I missed that. I gave, this has power right here, but I never gave these guys power down below. You know, that's an easy fix. We could do that right now. That's just a simple matter. Let's grab, whoa. We just need to grab some glass fiber. Yeah, I'm glad I looked at that. Well, I guess, no, we're going to need power cables, and then we're going to need the fiber. Quartz fiber, that's what it's called. Yeah, I'm glad I looked at that. That's something I had just missed. Yeah, I just got done and setting this all into the wall and getting all the patterns hooked up. I haven't tested it yet. So there we go. And I guess one of those should work. Yeah, now these should all have power. Yeah, they're all glowy. Perfect. Cool. All right, so we can go ahead, cover this back up. I think there might be something a little weird with the cabling here. It seems like we're making a box, which usually means you got one too many cables somewhere, but maybe not. Anyway, we'll just go ahead and cover this back up. We don't really need to see all this stuff back behind. The disc I do have partitioned. So yeah, there's only 3 items that you can make in the crystal growth accelerators. And that is the pure Certus quartz, the pure fluix crystal, and the pure nether quartz. So I have that partitioned for these 3. We have the 3 patterns set up here for that ME interface to drop into the water. And then the export bus down below, I also had set up with an expansion card. I guess I should have shown this. There is an expansion card on here, our capacity card, I guess, so we can have up to 5 items being exported. But since we only got those 3, yeah, that's all we have here. And then I put acceleration cards in here just to make sure that export happens as fast as possible. Cool. So this project is pretty much done. Obviously, the walls will be changed up once we figure out what the design of this room is going to be. Today, what I'd like to do, though, we have like pretty much everything set up here for the auto crafting. The problem is to get this thing fully automated, we're going to have to make these seeds. I guess just seed. Yeah, we have to make like the Certus quartz seed, for instance. So in order to do that, we need Certus quartz dust and sand, both of which are problematic. Certus quartz dust, we have to take Certus quartz and put it into like a macerator or a pulverizer or a sag mill or a crusher, etc., etc. So first thing we need to do is be able to get our applied energistics over to our machines, which are down this hallway and to the right. Yeah, all of our machines are over here. So yeah, we have to run cabling over here so we can connect all of our machines up to our applied energistic system. Okay, so that's one thing that we need to do. The other problem is sand. How do you get sand? You need cobblestone. You can put into, I guess, some kind of a grinder, whatever this particular item is, and we get sand out of it. Crack sand and water. You can macerate cobblestone. pulverized stone into gravel or cobblestone into sand. But anyway, guys, we know how to get cobblestone, right? We can just use the thermal expansion igneous extruder. Just put water and lava in there. It creates cobblestone. You're good, right? Cool. So I was also looking, though, the recipe for stone. We can macerate stone, I think is what it was, to turn into cobblestone, which might be cool later on down the road if we want to do everything through auto crafting, I guess, and not relying on the igneous extruder. Anyway, I was seeing that there was this UU matter stuff. This used to be from Industrial Craft 2, and that was removed. They changed the UU matter, so it's now a liquid. You no longer have these little blobs or balls or whatever those are, right? So Tech Reborn is like an old, or is like a remade version of the older Greg Tech that was in FTB Ultimate. So that had the, I think it was called a fabricator. Yeah, okay. So this is the Industrial Craft 2, the mass fabricator. This is the one that used to produce these little balls, but they changed it so this produces a UU matter liquid. So we're probably gonna not be doing that, and we'll probably be looking at this matter fabricator a little bit down the road. I mean, this is, look at the recipe for this thing. That's scary, guys. We're definitely gonna want all of our auto crafting set up before we can even start touching this. But yeah, that's pretty cool that that UU matter ball just auto crafts straight into stone, and then we can put that stone into like the macerator or something like that. I think that'll be like a more interesting way than just a machine that produces cobblestone, in my opinion. Anyway, so like for instance, it's highly advanced machine block. Look at all this stuff. So it needs an advanced machine casing. Yeah, all of that's going to be auto crafted eventually. We need titanium plates, which comes from titanium ingots, which, yeah, all sorts of weird stuff. You need the titanium dust in that industrial blast furnace, and you get that from the tiny piles, and we have to do the bauxite. This is the process we did to get to our quarry. I was also looking, though, the chrome plates come from the chrome ingots, which have to be smelted in the blast furnace. We have to have the chrome dust. We have to get the small piles, and that is only gotten from ruby ore. We don't have a way to get ruby ore, guys. Our quarry that we have mines everything like you were using a pickaxe on it. So there is no silk touch for that. So we'd have to come up with a way that we can get that ruby ore without our quarry breaking it. So I was thinking we'd have to mine by hand, but no, we do have MFR in this mod pack, so we'll be able to use the laser drill, which does produce ores. What? There was like something that just teleported near me. We'll be able to use the laser drill from MFR eventually. We'll just need to get our power up to snuff. So pretty much what we want to do right now, we need to run our applied energistics over and get our machines hooked up, at least get the interfaces on each one of those machines so we can start putting stuff in there, start getting things auto crafting and having those machines work with our applied energistics system. So probably the first thing we need to do is just get these cables ran over here. Now I was trying to figure out how we're going to do this. The idea was that we have the cables running up above us as we walk through here. In fact, I'm probably going to make this 4 blocks tall just so we can have the 3x3 for us to walk through and not feel claustrophobic and have the cables running up here. I don't know how we're going to do that. Like, we'd have to have the cables coming down over here and then up and then over and then down this hole, right? Or down the tunnel. That's probably going to be the way we're going to have to do that. I can't think of a very clean way of doing it. The other option is we could do the ring thing where we have our applied energistics wirelessly transferred, but that requires a lot of power. I will figure this out. I'll probably, like I said, make this 3x4. So we have the cables running up here on this next layer of blocks or whatever. And we have the 3x3 tunnel to ourselves so we don't feel claustrophobic. Okay, guys, so I added another recipe to our crystal growth accelerator mechanism here. Yeah, we are having this thing create Fluix crystal as well. So the way that works is it's just dropping nether quartz, charged Certus quartz, and redstone through a formation plane. Yeah, we have a recipe in here that says all 3 of those turns into a Fluix. Right, so all that's going down into here, it's turning into the Fluix, and then our annihilation plane down below is accepting that into the system, is exporting it back into our interface over here. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I was just having our system create a whole lot of these dense cables. Yeah, it's doing a lot of crafting here. You can kind of see the auto crafting at work here, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, we're making a bunch of the dense cables, which requires a lot of the fluix. So we got that automatically being crafted now, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm making up a few hundred of these things just because we're needing a lot of these. So I expanded out our ME controller a little bit. I added 2 more controller blocks on either side. I think we can go up to 7 in one direction, and then we can go 7 like this way. And we can make like a giant square, and I think you can make a cube. You can go 7 down and make like another square. Anyway, so this is the way this is set up now. We might expand this out a little bit later, but yeah, I rearranged the cables a little bit for those auto crafting units. I added in this cable over here on this side for these auto crafting units. We still have to do the same thing on this side for these and those, but we'll get to that eventually. So I added in cyan colored cables and light blue colored cables. These are heading over to our machine room, our workshop, right? We got the cables running up ahead or up overhead. I kind of decided we'll just leave this 3x3. We're not using this tunnel really to get between buildings, so there's no reason to make it not feel claustrophobic because we're not going to be using it as our main transport. But yeah, I did want the tunnel here in case we do need to get back and forth, change some wirings, whatever. So I got the cables ran here, and I was trying to figure out the best way to get this stuff all done. Yeah, it feels like running them off the bottom of the controller down and then kind of like over, so they're kind of running next to each other, and then up and then over here is going to be the best solution for that. So our other cable is going to run right here, but we ran out of the dense cable, so I started making more. I was like, you know, we should use our puddle over here to make the fluix crystals too. So I just got done working on that, and I wanted to bring you guys in and show you the progress of this. But I'm going to go ahead and make another cable, bring it down, bring it over, run it along. It's probably going to be green in color. Kind of makes sense. We have blue, cyan, and then green. Yeah, then these are going to connect to the different banks of the machine. So we have pretty much our Ender IO and thermal expansion machines over here. We're going to have our Tech Reborn on this side and our IC2 machines over here. We might have some of the other Tech Reborn machines on this side as well eventually. But anyway, I'm going to continue working on this stuff, and we'll be back, guys. Right, so I got a lot of the applied energistics stuff hooked up over here, at least to the machines that we really need it hooked up to, at least at this point. Like the painting machine, for instance, we're not going to really be doing any auto crafting with this, so this doesn't need anything. Maybe the energetic infuser at some point we could have hooked up so it'll automatically charge up our tools and put them somewhere like in an ender chest, or I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But the ones that are important right now are these machines over here. What is this one? The alloy smelter and the sag mill. I also have hooked up over here IC2 machines, just using some of these ME interface, the cable versions. Yep. So now that we got some of this stuff hooked up, it's time to actually get a little bit of auto crafting online. One of the things I'd like to do is to make some Enderium automatically. And there's a pretty cool, or at least an easier way through Ender IO to make this stuff. Whereas if you're doing it through thermal expansion, you have to melt ender pearls and deal with fluid. You don't have to do any of that with Ender IO. So it's much better, in my opinion, for auto crafting, at least through applied energistics. So what we need to do is we need to tell our alloy smelter here. These items show up as soon as you put an interface connected to that machine, by the way. So our alloy smelter is here, so we can put in patterns and it'll dump items into it. So we need to tell our alloy smelter to make this Enderium base. And to do that, we need 2 tin, 1 silver, and 1 platinum. Same thing as platinum is shiny. And shiny does have the exchange value. So we have a decent amount in our system right now. I've already pre-made some of that stuff. So let's go ahead and do this. So Enderium base, so 2 tin, silver, and shiny. So let's switch over to the processing. So tin, let's do that. So right click, double, silver, 1 of these, and shiny. Now we got about 300 of them in here. Cool. All right, so we got all that. And well, we got to tell the system that that's going to make Enderium base. So if you don't have any Enderium base in your system, you can click and drag from NEI. This is not cheat mode. This is not putting any items. These are just like ghost things. You can click that right here and it'll say 64 of those. Well, 64 is a little bit too much, right? We only want this recipe to do what this recipe says, which all of these makes 4, right? All right, so let's... I think if you right click, yeah, if you right click, this decrements it by 1 every time. I was trying to do like shift and control earlier when I was messing around with this on another processing pattern, and it seems like you can only decrease it by 1. Okay, so we'll go all the way down to 4. So that's right, 210 plus a silver plus shiny equals 4 of those. Yep, just like this recipe says here. So we'll do encode pattern. So we'll go ahead on the alloy smelter. We'll stick that here. So now we should be able to make this Enderium base whenever we want to. Let's try it. Oh, looks like we have 8 in the system already. Let's say make 1. That should make 4 more of them. And there we go. Now we got 12 of them. Cool. So now we can make Enderium out of that Enderium base. Let's find the recipe for this. So in the alloy smelter, we need pyrotheum, 2 Enderium base, and 2 ender pearls. All right, so it's the same kind of a thing. So let's go back to this thing. So we need 2 of those. Ender pearl. 2 of those. What was the final item? I can't remember. 1 pyrotheum dust? Yeah, 1 pyrotheum dust. There we go. Cool. And that will make us some Enderium. Well, we don't have any Enderium in the system. That's why we're doing this. So again, we're going to click and drag, place that here. And I'm just going to spam right click and bring this all the way down to 1. If we tell it that it's going to make a lot more, the system's going to get stuck. Out of crafting, it's like, I gave you the materials. Where's the rest of my Enderium? Yeah, we don't have it. So we can do that and this and over here and one of those. Cool. So now we should be able to auto craft the Enderium base and then auto craft the Enderium ingot. So if we tell the system Enderium, yeah, we have the recipe. Let's just say craft 1. Looks like everything looks happy. We'll see if we get ourselves an Enderium ingot back. In fact, I think this recipe takes a minute. Might be faster just to go over here and see if it's actually cooking stuff up. I think it takes a minute for that to process. Yeah, looks like things are cooking. Yeah, we're only like 60% complete. Yeah, this is one of those things where you want it to tell like make 32 of them or a stack of them and you just AFK for like a half an hour or something. So there's some Enderium ingots. It looks like that makes 2 of them. Is that what this recipe said? Oh yeah, it does say it makes 2 of them. Okay, so I should probably change that pattern. Although if it makes more than what it says the recipe does, then that's fine. But we should really make it so the system knows that it's going to make 2 instead of 1. So we're not crafting up like 300 and getting 600 back or something like that a little bit later. So that's cool. We got a little bit of auto crafting going here. I don't know if there's a way that I can... Oh yeah, you know what? Now that we have Enderium in the system, we can go ahead and make these 2 like that. There we go. Just re-encode the pattern. Perfect. Cool. All right, so we got some auto crafting going on now. So what we wanted to do at the beginning of today's episode was to be able to make those seeds, the Certus, the nether quartz, and all this stuff. So we got a lot of this stuff ready to go, but we still need to make sand, right? So the reason why I wanted to get that Enderium going so we can make the igneous extruder, but I wanted to make this the top end version, the one that uses the resonant machine frame, this one right here. So we need to do an Enderium gear. So there's that. And then I guess we can just tell it, oh wait, do we have to make these in order? I forget how this all works. Ah, yeah, look at this. Okay, so I think each one of these we can just auto craft, right? And then what about the signalum? We don't have this stuff being made either. So I guess signalum is another thing that we should look at crafting, and an alloy smelter recipe is something we can do as well. There's also the blend. I'm not sure that requires the destabilized redstone. This mod pack does have extra cells in it, so we can do fluid storage. We can make a whole bunch of redstone, stick it on a disk, and then do crafting with that. But that's, I don't know. Maybe eventually that'll make sense. I think right now what I should do is go through and make all the different crafting recipes for all these different gears, so we can just say, hey, make me a resonant machine frame, and when it needs signalum, it'll just go ahead and process that, or we already have it set up for the Enderium. So yeah, there's a few more things we need to do, but yeah, I wanted to make the resonant igneous extruder, because this will make a stack of cobblestone at a time. I'll always have one in its inventory. It is possible for us to set up a deep storage unit and have that thing just constantly filling up that, and we could put the deep storage unit on a storage bus. We might end up doing that, but either way, I wanted to make the top end version of that. So let me go ahead and make a few more auto crafting things so we can make the resonant machine frames just by telling our AE system to make one of those, and we'll be back. Oh my goodness, guys, it feels like I've gotten so much accomplished today. Yeah, we have like all these different recipes now that are auto-craftable through our alloy smelter, some from the induction smelter, and yeah, we got a lot of stuff being auto-crafted, made all the different patterns for all the different gears and all the different machine frames. So now we can auto-craft these resonant machine frames whenever we want to, you know, provided we have the raw materials in the system. Cool. So now we can go ahead and say make ourselves an igneous extruder. We have pretty much all the materials made, so it should just be like a really fast craft. There we go. But should we choose to make another one? Yeah, we can do that pretty quickly. Anyway, we have this set up. So the igneous extruder is going to make stuff that's going to drop it into our deep storage unit, and then we're going to do a storage bus right on top of that. So let's make one of these. There we go. Storage bus is going to connect to that. Then we're going to need some cabling, some glass cable to connect to our network. And I think that's about all we need to do as far as this is concerned. And then we're going to need a pattern that says cobblestone, like a stack of cobblestone will turn into a stack of sand. We don't quite have a stack of sand. We can fix that though. So we'll do the processing pattern. So cobblestone turns into sand. We'll just do it this way. Done. Done. Cool. So now we can turn cobblestone into sand. We have all the cobblestone we need. Then the sand we can mix with the different dust and stuff, which we have on an auto craft. So yeah, this is pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing hooked up over here. I guess we could use our telepoint or whatever. We'll stick it maybe over here on the end. Is that fine? Well, let's see. Our cable kind of ended over here. We have another cable turning over that way. It might be a case where I start shifting some machines around to make it a little bit easier, or we could just run the cabling back over here, whatever. So we'll just go ahead and stick our igneous extruder right there. Turn off all the things. We want it to eject to the bottom. We want it to be cobblestone. And let's see. We come down underneath. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put a deep storage unit right there. And we'll put the storage bus right on the bottom of that guy. And then we can just run some cabling over however we want to do that. I guess we can't do that. That is going to be bad. We don't want that connecting over to that particular cable. I don't know. It might be better just to run it right on the back and then up and over. I mean, that's another way we could do this. I'll get this all pretty here in a little while anyway. Let me actually get this storage bus back. Yeah, we'll figure out the best way to do this at some other time when I can just spend some time and derp around, do this off camera. Anyway, there's that and that. There we go. So now the storage bus is completely connected. We want this unlocked. We want to say cobblestone. We want to lock it. So the only thing that's allowed in here is cobblestone. We also want the storage bus to be, I guess, extract only. I think that's what we want. No, we want it to be insert bidirectional, actually, because if we take too much cobblestone out of our crafting terminal and we put some in the system, we want it all to go into this deep storage unit. Okay, so we got that hooked up. We need to put water in here. And then we need a bucket of lava. Do we have lava? I can't remember. I guess we don't. We probably could make some, but I know that we have some down here in our mine, which we haven't visited in like forever. There should be lava down here somewhere, I'm sure. It was like at the end of one of these. Oh yeah, right here. This is fine. Grab some of that. Can we fast travel out of here? I can't see any of the different warp points. There it is, bed. And then where are we going? Workshop? In there. Okay, so now we are making cobblestone stacks at a time. It's going right into this deep storage unit, which is pretty cool. Right? Is it not? Why is it only making one? Should that not be making 64 at a time since this is... Oh, we need the upgrades. That's why. I completely forgot about that. I thought just making the resonant one did. No, we need to make the upgrades for this so it'll make a stack of cobblestone at a time. Okay, well, that's fine. Now we know. Another thing we can do, we can tell this thing insert only. Yeah, and we can take all the cobblestone out of our system so we can get it off of our drives. Let's take all this cobblestone off. We'll put it back in the system. It'll disappear. Whoop. Now it really disappeared. We'll put it back in here. Now we won't be able to see any cobble. Right? Okay, so there's no cobblestone in the system. So that means it's not on the discs. Now, if we switch this thing to bidirectional, we should be able to see it. We'll also set this at a priority like 100, so cobblestone will always go there first. Yeah, there we go. There's all the cobble. We can see this number increasing as it's doing that. Yeah, I'll have to make the augments for that particular thing. I forgot about that, that we have to have those augments in there. So anyway, now we have cobblestone automatically being generated to our system. We can set up a pattern to take the cobblestone and put it through the macerator. I think, was that the only way? I can't remember now. Recipes on this. So in the macerator works. I guess the pulverizer works too. I think the macerator is going to be the best choice once we get all the upgrades. I don't remember how quick or how slow this thing is. We can't put that in there. Let's try putting in a piece of cobblestone. Grab some of that real quick. Let's put a piece of cobblestone in this macerator. I think it's really, really slow until we get the speed upgrades or the overclocker upgrades. Yeah, that's like 10 to 15 seconds per piece. That's really slow. There's no way we're going to be able to do a stack through that. What about the pulverizer? Do we not? Or maybe we don't have a pulverizer. Can we do that through the sag mill? I mean, oh, that gives us 2? Does that use a little bit of this? Oh, use a little bit of the flint. Okay, so it looks like we get 2 per. This might be the preferred way of doing it then. Eventually, we'll do it through the macerator once we get all the overclocker upgrades over here and we have plenty of reserve power to dump into that. For now, I think we're going to do through the alloy smelter, or I'm sorry, the sag mill, because that just makes more sense. So where did that pattern go? Do I still have it on me? I do. And we'll do this right into, where is it? The sag mill. Cool. So now we can automatically create sand. I like it. All right, so now we need to just make a few more patterns for the different seeds. And now that we have a way to make sand, we have a way to make all the different dusts and stuff like that, right? All the way down here. Yeah, now we can make the seeds, and then we'll be able to tell our system to automatically create everything that we want. All right, well, I just went ahead and made the 3 different augments that we needed to get this thing to make 64 cobblestone at a time. So yeah, now we're making a decent amount, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, we're gonna have all the cobblestone eventually. I believe the deep storage units hold like 2.6 billion or trillion items. I can't remember. It's a ridiculous amount. I don't know if we'll ever fill up our deep storage unit with this through this series. We might, but that's still gonna be a heck of a lot of cobblestone. Either way, the amount of cobblestone that we have in the system will eventually be like our #1 item here. And then now that we have cobblestone coming in on a deep storage unit, we can look at making our quarry as we're mining stuff, dump the items back into the overworld through a tesseract. Yeah, we don't have to worry about cobblestone clogging up our system. We'll probably end up wanting to make deep storage units for dirt and gravel and some of these other random blocks like granite, andesite, and diorite, those kinds of things. So those will be other things that we'll look at in the future. But yeah, I'm pretty happy that we have a lot of this auto crafting stuff, the infrastructure now starting to be set up. It's going to make life a lot easier. We can start crafting things without having to worry about making each and every individual part. So that's definitely going to be nice. We have to worry about making this building a little bit safer. I keep finding myself looking at the screen and all of a sudden it's dark around and there's monsters spawning. I'm like, oh, quick, get to the bed. Yeah, I want to make this place a little bit safer so we can stay in here at nighttime. We don't have to worry about creepers coming in. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do for doors. I don't know if there's some kind of blocks in here where you can pass through it, but mobs can't. Or we could look at doing the drawbridges or... Wait, we don't have... Do we have drawbridges in this? We might not have drawbridges. No, we don't have drawbridge in here. We'll have to figure out some other method of making doors that open and close, which is fine. That's stuff that I like doing. But anyway, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap the episode up here for today. Lots of cool stuff happening. Did I show you the wiring down below? I can't remember. That's the way the wires look down here. I know it's kind of ugly looking, but this is the part of the workshop where we're just running wires and conduits and stuff underground. This isn't where we're hanging out and looking at it anyway, but that's the way it is. So yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode of FTB Inventions. I hope you guys liked it. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you did, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.